Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I don't quite know what happened there. Um, I was ready to go and I pressed start streaming and suddenly my whole computer decided to have a wobble. But I'm here. It's all good. Let me know whether the internet's a bit rubbish. It says the stream status is bad, which isn't great. But hopefully you guys can hear me and see me. Let me know if you can't in the comments, because that's what I can see. I can't see myself, I can just see the comments. Welcome to James Talks Who, the final James Talks Who for the series, for series 11 of Doctor Who. We're going to be talking about episode 10 of Doctor Who. And I've got a lot of things to talk about it, because I had many mixed feelings. So I am hoping that you guys are watching. Hannah looks fine to me. Good, I'm glad. I don't know why it went funny there. It still says my stream status is bad, but for some reason, when I pressed start streaming, it just cut out. I think it's because I've got a load of deadlines coming up. I've got a load of work on my computer. It really, really needs to be wiped. My computer is struggling at the minute because I've got so much stuff. I've got a little 4K footage on it. Dan Yap, hey James, hey Dan, how you doing? I will give it a couple of minutes. Obviously we started a few minutes late, so I'll give it a couple of minutes just to filter through. Hopefully we'll have a few more people watching, so that we can discuss the episode, because I've got lots of questions for you guys. I want to hear everything. I want to hear exactly what you guys think. Here come the usual. Stephanie Neuer, looks and sounds good. Thanks, Stephanie. I'll take that as a compliment. BGL, hi. Hey, BGL, how was your week? You had a good week, everybody. Mine's been stressful, before you ask. But have you had a good week? That's the question. It's nice that we've been able to do this live stream every Sunday at the same time. It's nice that you guys are just getting used to me being here at 8:30 on a Sunday, which is nice. Dan, hey James, hey Dan, how you doing? Had a good week? So yeah, the finale. I'm not going to say anything just yet. I'm going to wait to see if anybody else joins the chat. Like I said last week, by all means, if you are watching and you haven't commented, then make sure you leave a comment, because I can't see who's watching. The only way that I can tell that anybody is watching or listening to me drone on is by leaving a comment in the comment section. So please do leave a comment if you are watching. It's nice to hear what you think. Even if it's just a hey, it's nice to hear that you're watching. Yeah. I've got lots of things that I want to say about this week's episode. The finale of Series 11. Lots of things that I want to say. Jonathan Vlogs is going straight into it. Tim Shaw was good. Imagine the villain for next year's episode imagine the villain for for the New Year episode isn't the Daleks. We'll talk about that again in a minute. Dan, your week wasn't too bad. That's good. I'm glad. You know what? Let's just start talking, because I've got so much to say. So much to say. So, like I always do say, if you've got an opinion on what I'm saying, leave a comment down below. Depending on what part of the episode we're talking about, make sure you leave a comment, because I like to hear what your opinion is as well. Right, now my first note is WTF early 2020. Why? Series 12, and I know this has nothing to do with the episode, but I just want to have a quick rant about it. Series 12 has been announced for early 2020. What do you guys think of that? Because that has annoyed me. I was writing my notes about the episode, and it came up. I have notifications for when the Doctor Who Twitter account posts on Twitter, and it came up. You can watch Series 12 of Doctor Who early 2020. And I thought, what? Dan is beyond annoyed. I just don't understand why. Like, I just don't understand why. The whole point of this series was to build an audience for Doctor Who. And if you remember back in 2005, up until Series 6, I think it was, they had the show on at the same time every year. It started in April. I didn't mind the show moving to the autumn, but keep it in the autumn. Do you know what I mean? I just don't understand why on earth they would change it, especially now they've got this audience. I try not to be negative about Doctor Who, but it's really annoying. I don't know why they've done it. Dan is beyond annoyed. Are they trying to kill the show? I don't know, Dan. And hopefully it won't kill the show, but I think it will damage it. I do, because the ratings in terms of viewership for this series have been very, very good. And it would be very nice if they could just say, Series 12 will be on BBC One at the same time next year. But no. Stephanie Neuer is angry. Dan Yap, very disappointed that we have to wait 1 year. I'm disappointed, but I'm also just annoyed in general. I just think they're trying to build the fan base, and this is not how you build the fan base. Because the general viewer is not going to think, oh, I'll remember that. It's early 2020, not the same time as Series 11. It's just annoying. It really is annoying. What that means, bear in mind, this is what that means. What that means is that instead of having the New Year's special, if they carry on with the New Year's special, at the end of the series, next year it's going to be at the start of the series. So the whole thing is going to be thrown off. And I just think it's just ridiculous. Someone somewhere must have said, this isn't a good idea. Let's start filming a couple of weeks earlier and make sure it's out for October, even November. But no. I'm annoyed about it, to be honest. I think it was... I don't know why. And, yeah. So, yeah. That's a little rant, just to start the live stream off. It's nice to start the live stream off in a negative way. And we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on. One interesting comment I just want to read. BGL, I think it could actually improve it. Do you? Why is that? Just out of interest. So continuing on with the negative theme of tonight's live stream. And again, I don't like to be negative about Doctor Who because it's one of my favourite shows. It is my favourite show. Tonight's episode, and let me know what you think of this. Tonight's episode for me was a complete anticlimax. I'm just reading the comments. It was a complete anticlimax for me, tonight's episode. And this isn't even in my good or bad section. I've just written this at the top of my notes. It was a complete anticlimax. It had a very, very interesting premise. And I was intrigued for the first 20 minutes or so. Up until... Let's try and pinpoint exactly when it went down the drain. I would say up until the point where they went on the ship. And then, it all went downhill. Because the Doctor met Tim Shaw. And after that, it fell completely flat. I've written down here, he did nothing. He had all of those years to come up with a decent plan to get revenge on the Doctor. And the Doctor stopped it in 5 minutes. And I've put, it was a joke. And it was. And I enjoyed watching it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed watching it. But the point that I'm trying to make, and that I'm going to be making throughout this live stream, is that it wasn't a finale. I enjoyed watching it. As an episode, it was alright. But it wasn't a finale. In my opinion, it was not a finale. I've got good notes here, but I'm not going to read them for the minute, because I want to carry on with this, because it annoyed me. And especially the fact that they've announced Series 12 for early 2020 has annoyed me. So what did I not like? I usually say not negatives, but just slight things that I wasn't keen on. Things that I didn't like about this episode. It didn't feel like a finale at all. I've written here, Think about The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. Think about Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. Think about Bad Wolf and The Parting of Ways. This episode didn't feel like any of those, and it didn't feel like a finale at all. It felt like another episode where the stakes were slightly higher, but they weren't as high as they should be in a finale. It annoyed me how disappointing it was as a finale. And it makes me sad to say that, because I have enjoyed this series on a whole, and I wanted it to go out with a bang, with a really, really good finale. And it wasn't it. It wasn't that. Dan, I really didn't connect with the episode. I normally watch by myself, but I did have my dog laying on me and my boyfriend with me, who didn't like it either. I didn't really love it. Yeah. I agree with you. And usually I try to stay positive, but it's annoying. Especially now they've just said that there's a whole year, more than a whole year, before the next series. I just don't think you can keep changing it about all the time. Because then, what's Series 13 going to be? Is it going to be back in the autumn? Is it going to be back in the summer? Is it going to be in the spring, at the start of the year? And this is fans. This is me as a fan saying that. Think about what the general audience will think. Do you know what I mean? Like, the general audience are not going to know when Doctor Who is on. And after all the hype that they've said, we're trying to build the fan base up again, we're trying to bring new viewers in. And I think you've lost them by doing that. I really do. And it's very, very annoying. Stephanie Neuer, we need a good series arc. Yeah. I don't really like the idea that, I know that it was said from the very beginning that there wasn't a story arc and that it was just sort of character development. And it was. Yeah. Dan, I love Tim Shaw and he just didn't feel that threatening. Yeah, I agree. BGL, I really liked this episode, not because of the episode, but because of the fact that my girlfriend just announced she's pregnant. Congratulations, BGL. Round of applause for BGL. Congratulations to you and your girlfriend. Yeah, that's great news. Unfortunate that you have to associate that nice announcement with the episode. Because, yeah. BGL, you usually comment some critical stuff about the episodes. What did you think? Apart from the fact that your girlfriend's pregnant, which is great news, by the way. I've written another note that I've written. It was interesting to see the sniper bots again, but why were they there? I've put that in all capitals. Why were they there? There was absolutely no explanation as to why they were there. There was a theory going around on Twitter this week that the planet in this week's episode was going to be an early version of the planet from the second episode of the series, and that would justify why the sniper bots were there. What happened to that? Why were the sniper bots in it? Did I miss that bit? BGL, we do need a good story arc. Yeah, I agree. Dan Yap, Tim Shaw wasn't really as good as he was in episode 1. Didn't think he would be on Oxygen Machine. He was more of a villain in the first episode. He did nothing in this episode. He did nothing. I've written, I loved the idea of bringing Tim Shaw back, but he had to do something big to make his return worthwhile. I'm going to say this, and I don't think this is a nice idea, but I think it was what was necessary. He should have killed Graham on the spot when Graham decided not to kill him. That should have been what had happened. In my opinion, the first part of the episode was all building up to Graham sacrificing himself or killing Tim Shaw. Okay? And it didn't happen. What should have happened, in my opinion, and I wonder whether maybe this was an early version of the script, because it seems weird why they'd have had that whole thing at the beginning with Graham saying, I will kill him, if if he didn't, Graham should have done the same thing where he says, you know what, no, I'm the better man. Put the gun down, and Tim Shaw kills him. And Graham and Ryan walks in just to see Graham get killed. The Stenza are then threatening. Tim Shaw actually did something. And I think that would have redeemed it. I was constantly thinking, there's going to be a big twist. There's going to be a big twist. There's going to be a big twist. And there wasn't. There just wasn't. And there were plenty of setups for a big twist. For example, when the Doctor and Yaz took the neural stabilizer things off their heads and put them onto the people, and they thought they said the planet's going to start messing with our brains. I thought, oh, this is interesting, something's going to happen here. And it didn't. They were fine. And I just think there were so many loose cannons, is that the word? Setups that just weren't paid off. That should have been paid off. There should have been an instance where the character takes off the neural blocker or whatever it was called, and then something happens because of that. BGL, for me, this episode kind of feels, then went back up for a while, then just nosedived into a disaster. Dan was worried for Graham, glad he didn't go off the rails, and was funny when he shot Tim Shaw in the foot. I'm glad he didn't die. I'm glad he didn't die, but if Donna hadn't had her mind wiped in Series 4, or Rose hadn't gone into the parallel universe in Series 2, you would be glad about it, but was it what was necessary? I don't think so. I think Graham's character arc would have been nicely wrapped up if he had gone to kill Tim Shaw, he remembered what the Doctor had said to be the better person, and Tim Shaw killed him. That should have been what happened. There should have been at least one big shock, and there wasn't any. There literally wasn't any. Do you know what I mean? Dutton Domain, there's going to be a gap year. What are your thoughts? Skip back a few minutes into the live stream. We spoke about that a minute ago. Not happy, in a nutshell. Dan Yap, if Tim Shaw had turned on Ryan, then Graham would have had a reason to kill him. There was no closure for Tim Shaw either. Has anyone thought about that? Carl B. Graham surviving made perfect sense dramatically and completed his and Ryan's relationship story arc. That was enough for me. Interesting take on it. Fair enough. It's nice to know that some people do think that that was right. I personally think Graham should have been shot on the spot. As much as I love Graham, that should have been what happened, in my opinion. Sean S. Maybe Graham should have lost a neural blocker, contributing to his desire for revenge. Maybe, that would have been interesting. Those neural blockers did nothing. Do you not think? They were all so many setups that just didn't become anything. Do you know what I mean? Dan Yab, you're right though, James. Tim Shaw should have killed someone. He's had, literally, how long did he have? 35,000 years? Maybe even longer? Something like that? And his plan, what even was his plan? Because something happened to Earth and it was just reversed within a couple of minutes. They've left it open for Tim Shaw to return, though. Again, I was fine with him returning for the finale, but it had to be something big. And I just think, do you know what I mean? Honestly, the more I think about it, the more annoyed it makes me. It didn't feel like a finale, and nothing happened. He should have killed someone. Whether it be a companion. He didn't even kill the two people that he'd manipulated. Were there any deaths in this episode? I know there doesn't always have to be deaths, but there should be in a finale, in my opinion. BGL, did you like Jodie in it? Because I liked her in it a lot. Yeah, I did. I think Jodie smashes it out of the park every episode, to be honest. I don't mind. I liked all the characters, in fact. I thought all the writing and the acting was very good. I particularly liked the bit where Graham and Ryan fist bumped. I thought that was funny. And Graham was sort of like, oh my god, it actually happened. Yeah. Just think back, though. Think back to the scene in Journey's End where the Doctor is at Donna's doorstep, holding Donna, and there's that whole sort of 15-minute conclusion to that episode. And it just ties up everything. And it's just not... do you know what I mean? It's just not... It's just annoying. Sean S. All series I expected an Earth-based finale with Tim Shaw and an army of the other Stenza. Yeah, I thought there would be other Stenza, to be honest. Dan, haha, love your rant, James, lol. Yeah, it's just annoying. It is just annoying, isn't it? Like... I am aware that we've spent half the live stream talking. I haven't even gone through any of the good points or anything yet. I've just been... Dan, an army of the Stenza would have been cool. See, I think just one Stenza is quite interesting. And I think if Tim Shaw had come back and been, like, crazy, he should have been more deformed. Because you remember when that was all melting on him in the first episode? If he was all deformed... I like the fact he was on that sort of machine thing. But if he was all deformed... and he killed... Imagine if he killed 2 out of the 3 companions. Can you imagine that? Like, or the Doctor loses, for example. Something like that. I read a theory on Twitter earlier in the week that if the episode that they landed on was the planet from the first... from the second episode of the series, how cool it would have been that they would have had the choice... the choice to stop the Stenza, but it would mean that the planet from episode 2 never existed as that, and it wouldn't be part of the race, which would mean that when the Doctor and the companions were teleported into the vacuum of space, they wouldn't have been rescued by the racers. Do you know what I mean? And that would have been, oh my god, like, what are they going to do? How are they going to get out of this? There was none of that in this episode. And again, I hate to be the person being negative about it, but there wasn't. And I just think it was a good episode as a Doctor Who episode. It was a good Doctor Who episode, but it wasn't a good finale. That's my opinion. That's the sort of episode... I mean, I like the fact that Tim Shaw came back. That's good for a finale, but what actually happened in it... Well, what actually happened in it? I think maybe Tim's revenge should have been more simplistic. Hard for me to follow or care about. Everything was going on with the Yucks. Yeah, the Yucks shouldn't have been in it. They were irrelevant. I don't know why they were. It should have been something to do with Tim Shaw. It should have been a trap. One of the companions should have died. That's my opinion. Because he's not threatening. Dan... That would have been amazing, groundbreaking and devastating. Shame they didn't have the balls to do that. I'd pick Ryan or Yaz to go, yeah. Ace Creeper, exterminate. Welcome to the live stream, Ace. I'm excited to hear what you think of this episode, because we're having a bit of a rant here. I'm doing a bit of a who-a-dicks. BGL, I think that Series 12 will be better. I hope to God. Especially the finale. Right. They need to bring back 2-part finales. I'll stand by that. I've said it from the beginning. They should not have scrapped 2-parters. Fair enough, have 8 standalone episodes. 9 and 10 should be a 2-parter. Dan Yap, I think New Year's episode will be good. Well, I thought this week's episode would be good, but it hasn't been. So, I really hope New Year's is good. Let's face it, they're building it up to be the Daleks. They better do a good job, in my opinion. Otherwise, the Daleks will be dead, in the fanbase's eyes. At least it's better than other finales, says Alex Goddard. It's better than some. It's better than Hellbent. It's better than Name of the Doctor. It's better than The Wedding of River Song. It's better than... That's about it, isn't it? Ace Creeper. I think I disagree. It had issues, and it's a shame my theory didn't happen, but I really enjoyed how Tim Shaw was like Vader. Yeah, he was. He was, actually. That was funny. He was wearing like a... Did you guys notice this? He was wearing like a Roman skirt. What's it called? I don't know what it's called. You know, like a belt thing with all the... Like, he was wearing like a warrior outfit. No, I don't know. It had good building blocks. I agree. It had really good building blocks. I just think it didn't feel like a finale. That's my problem with it. It just didn't feel like a conclusion. It didn't feel like an ending. Even when literally at the end of the episode where they left, and then obviously they had the to the titles. I honestly sat there and I thought, what? Like that's how a normal episode ends. Dan's boyfriend said he looked like Vader. Yeah, he did. There was definitely some Star Wars in that, I thought. I agree. He was definitely like that. I just wish he would have done something. Maybe I'll watch it again and think it's okay. Again, it wasn't a bad episode. It was just a bad finale, I thought. And it wasn't anywhere near as bad as something like The Wedding and River Song. Or, what's it called? The Name of the Doctor. And I hate those. And the reason I don't like them is because they're one-parters and they try too much. This tried too little. It should have been a two-parter. There should have been a cliffhanger. Graham should have been shot or killed by Tim Shaw. Dan, he literally did nothing, lol. Just the fact that they just put him in that pod and he literally didn't do any. Like, what did he do? Ace Creeper, to be fair, even though I expected his return, I had chills when he appeared on screen. I liked all that first bit. I really did like all that first bit. The bit where Graham's character completely changed. That's one of the positives, actually, that I've written down. I really liked all of that. Up until the point, really, where they all went on the spaceship. There were bits that were good, and it felt like they were building up. It felt like a first part of a two-parter. That's what I thought. When all the characters were split up, the Doctor went to see Tim Shaw, Yaz with the dude, whatever his name was, and Ryan and Graham were together. I thought you can imagine there being 3 separate cliffhangers, and there wasn't. And I just think it was disappointing. I think it's probably the second best Chibnall episode this series. It was second best to The Woman Who Fell to Earth, I'd say, because it made sense and it wasn't annoying. And I didn't really like the Spider episode, which Chibnall wrote. I wasn't overly keen on the Ghost Monument. So I think it was well written by Chibnall. But it should have had more. It just didn't have enough for me. That's why I was disappointed. Alex Goddard, what were the objects? They looked like flies trapped in sort of prisms. They were planets, weren't they? They were planets, but I don't know why. Ace Creeper, for Chibnall it's pretty good, but I agree, two-parter would have been amazing. It should have been a two-parter. Finales, and I will stand by this, finales should be two-parters, in my opinion. If this was a two-parter and this was the first part, it would have worked. I really think it would have worked, because it was nice and slow building like the first part of a two-parter. And if they'd have had a cliffhanger, such as Graham going, you know what? No, I can't remember what his phrase was, but he could put the gun down, and then Tim Shaw killed him there and then on the spot, like Bill was killed at the start of the first part of the finale in series 10. Would have been a great cliffhanger. Or the Doctor was put in one of the stasis pods. Or something like that. But nothing like that happens. Do you know what I mean? There just wasn't any threat. That's what was wrong with it. Dan, there was a nice shot of the TARDIS interior. I don't really like the inside of the TARDIS. I can't remember it. But yeah, I'm not overly keen on the inside of the TARDIS, but it doesn't really bother me that much. Alex Goddard, I think he planned episode 1 and episode 10 to be combined, become a two-parter. Yeah, it just wasn't good enough for me. I just did not think it was good enough for a finale. It was okay. It definitely wasn't like some of Moffat's finales where I just sit there thinking, what, like what? Do you know what I mean? Like there's some finales that I really, really dislike, and Moffat was not good at finales. But I feel like Chibnall has maybe gone too far the other way. It was very good and very simple, which I like, but it just didn't have any meat to it. BGL. Also, this ep felt very rushed, like the direction and the editing. I didn't really notice that, to be honest. I thought it was okay. Alex Goddard, I think he planned episode 1. Oh, I already read that. Dan Yap, the sniper bots ruined the episode, I think. Why were they there? Can someone give me a reason why they were actually in the episode? Because in my head at the minute, I think I'm just assuming maybe that I'm telling myself that this was the same planet as Desolation from episode 2. Because it makes sense. Why on earth would those sniper bots be there? Do you know what I mean? And they did nothing. They were literally... They trapped Ryan and Graham. And Ryan and Graham fooled them by ducking. I don't know. It's just... The more I think about it, the more annoyed I get. So what were the good parts? There were good parts of the episode, and I did like the story. I liked the whole episode, to be honest. It all made sense. It all worked. I particularly loved how Graham's character instantly changed as soon as he realised it was Tim Shaw. I really liked that conversation where the Doctor was like, go back to the TARDIS, and he was like, no. I really liked that, and I thought, he is on a self-destruct mission. He is going to die in this episode if he's not careful. And, like, it just seemed pointless. Do you know what I mean? The Doctor goes to him, be careful, you might even kill you might end up killing yourself. And he's like, yep, I understand that. Why put that in? Do you know what I mean? He should have died. That storyline would have worked better if he'd have died. And I love Graham, but he should have died. That's my honest opinion. I also thought it was a nice conclusion to the family dynamic that this series had. Because it is a nice family dynamic, and I think all 3 companions have earned their place in the show. I do. Oh, it just wasn't a finale, was it? That's my opinion on it. Highlights. Graham versus Tim Shaw. That was the only part of the episode that genuinely my heart was beating, because I thought, Jesus, he's gonna kill Graham here. BGL, the bots, I think, work with the Stenza. Yeah, but why? Do you know what I mean? Like, why were they on Desolation then? Like, I thought they were part of the whole challenge of getting across the planet in that space race. So there was no explanation as to why they work with the Stenza. And why would the Stenza even bother with them? Because they are useless. They did nothing, did they? They literally were fooled by Graham and Ryan ducking. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I just don't know. It just seems crazy to me. Do you know what I mean? Overall, I was disappointed in the episode. If it was a mid-series episode, I would have been satisfied. But I've put in capitals, this next bit. This was not a finale. And it wasn't. And it's definitely not Chibnall's worst episode, this series. But for a finale, it should have been better. It should have been better, in my opinion. And it wasn't. And that's disappointing for me. I just hope that the New Year's special doesn't disappoint as well. Because, as we've mentioned, it is the only episode that we're getting in 2019. So yeah, Dan finds it funny that the robots were fooled by ducking. It is ridiculous, though, isn't it? Why would the Stenza, the race that they've been built up to be, these monsters that are destroying planets, literally, absolutely destroying the people on the planets, why on earth would they bother being in league with those robots? Those robots were rubbish in episode 2. They couldn't shoot for their life, and they were rubbish in this episode. What is the point in them? Do you know what I mean? So yeah. BJL, also I kind of found this episode to feel very small. I think sometimes finales work when they're not on Earth, because you can pull out all the stops, and obviously World Enough and Time showed that. The fact that you can have a finale on a ship you could blow up that whole ship and kill everyone on it, and that would feel like a finale. Do you know what I mean? On Earth, everything's got to be reverted back to normal, so it's never... I do agree that finales shouldn't be on Earth, or maybe should have something to do with Earth, but maybe not be on Earth. BGL, it wasn't as grand as a finale. Yeah, it wasn't. Two-parters, finales. Two-part finales are a must. You can't have a finale that's not a two-parter, in my opinion. It will just never be dramatic. To squeeze all of that in 50 minutes will never work. Cybrus 16. I think the New Year's special will effectively act as the real finale for Series 11, given that it's so soon after. Then don't market this as the finale. Or at least make it a two-parter and the second part be the New Year's special. Can we all agree that the Daleks are going to come back for the New Year's special, by the way? You would have thought so. I mean, let's watch the trailer, for example, and decide whether or not it is the Daleks coming back. Because if it isn't, then why are they clickbaiting us?
This is the DNA of the most dangerous creature in the universe.
The DNA of the most dangerous creature in the universe. Dalek.
What? It's been buried on Earth since the 9th century.
It's been buried on Earth since the 9th century. That's cool. Cool story if it is a Dalek story.
It's not going to stop until it's taken control of this planet.
It's not going to stop until it's taken control of this planet.
It's going to kill anyone that gets in its path.
It's going to kill anyone that gets in its path.
Does it have a name?
Does it have a name? And you're led to believe, oh, it's the Daleks. I hope to God that's not clickbait. That's all I'm saying. Oh, really? Marty has just said that there was a Dalek in the trailer. Oh, and hi, James. Hey, Marty. Where is it? Let me find it. Right at the bottom, very briefly. Where? This is what it's talking about. What? I'll have to look into that. I'm excited. If the Daleks are coming back, I've got to admit, I am excited. I also really, really like this poster for the New Year's special, by the way. I also saw something on Twitter the other day that was saying that it's called Resolution at the minute, but imagine if they announced that it was actually called Resolution of the Daleks. I'm going to read some of your comments. Dan, I hope the Daleks redesign isn't a massive mistake too. I like the Bronze Daleks. I really like the Bronze Daleks too, but I would like them to change the colour. Maybe not the design, but the colour. I'd quite like maybe grey and blue, like the old Daleks. I think they would look quite cool. Keep the Daleks looking the same. Same design, just different, just a paint job. That'll work. Marty, somebody saw a Dalek in the trailer and cropped out a pic all over Twitter. If that's the pic I've just seen, I can't see a Dalek in it. So you'll have to point. So you could tweet it to me. If you've got Twitter, my Twitter handle is @JamesBurtonshaw. It's in the description down below. Tweet me the photo because I'm interested to see it. Dan Yap, the Doctor has to face the Daleks at some point again. I agree. I am excited. I saw a theory a long time ago that said that hopefully the 13th Doctor won't see the Daleks until her final story and they'll win and they'll be who kills her. And I thought, that's sick. That would be so good because that would bring back fear of the Daleks. But I'm not complaining. If they're done well on New Year's Day, I'm not complaining. I just hope they're done right. And I hope they're done well enough. And the Daleks done well is the Daleks kill everyone. That's the Daleks done well. Like in the episode Dalek. So, as long as they follow that one piece of advice from me, Chibs, if you're watching, that one piece of advice from me, the Daleks need to kill everything and everyone that they get into contact with. Okay? So if they don't, it might fall flat on its face. But we'll have to see. Anyway, I've rambled on way too much. Sorry it's been a bit of a negative live stream. I don't want it to become negative, but I wanted to discuss it. I still like discussing with you guys at the end of the day. Even though I didn't feel like it was a great finale, the nice thing is that we can still talk about it, and that's enjoyable. So I don't want to put a downer on it, because I do enjoy talking to you guys, and I think that's probably one of the best things about it, about this series. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, James, are you going to be live streaming next Sunday? Well, yes, I am. I'm going to be live streaming next Sunday at 8:30 again to talk about Series 11 on a whole, okay? I've loved live streaming so much after these Doctor Who episodes that I want to carry on live streaming. Next Sunday, I will be live streaming again at 8:30 to talk about Series 11 on a whole and anything else that we fancy talking about. So if you guys would like to join me next Sunday, I would absolutely love that. If there's anything that you want to talk about next Sunday, then either come along to the live stream and let me know. We can make it a bit of a Q&A. But also, feel free to contact me. I've got my Snapchat, my Instagram, and my Twitter all in the description of this video. So, by all means, send me a tweet, send me a DM, whatever, suggesting maybe stuff to talk about next week. But in general, what we're going to be talking about is Series 11 on a whole. And I would really, really like it if you guys could come and watch. And we carry on this tradition of talking every Sunday, because it's so nice. You know what, I haven't live streamed before Series 11 of Doctor Who, and I feel like we've come a long way. You guys come in every week and we talk about the episode, and I've really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. So much so that I want to carry it on. So next Sunday, 8:30, I'm going to be live streaming again, and we're going to be talking about Series 11 as a whole, okay? So I really, really hope to see you guys then. Thank you for watching every live stream for every episode of this Doctor Who series. I've really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it, and we'll be able to carry on this discussion next week. If they release any trailers or details about the Daleks in the next week, which will be very interesting if they do, we can talk about that next week, next Sunday at 8:30 for the next live stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really hope that you've enjoyed the live stream. I really hope that you've enjoyed all the live streams over this series. I hope to see you again next Sunday. Please do come and watch the live stream if you're free, if you have nothing going on next Sunday evening. Follow me on all my social medias. I'd love to hear back from you, so by all means send me a message, tweet me, whatever. I love to chat to all of you guys. I know that some of you have reached out to me already and we've had a nice chat. I'll also be on Ace Creeper's live stream next weekend as well. So if you're going to be watching that, I'll make a little appearance there at some point. So apart from that, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next Sunday at 8:30 for another live stream, talking about Series 11 of Doctor Who on a whole. I'm really looking forward to it. I will see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.